Forbidden Archaeology by Michael Cremo and Richard Thompson. Summary and review. Forbidden Archaeology by Michael Cremo and Richard Thompson is a controversial and highly debated book that challenges the prevailing scientific narrative of human evolution. It argues that archaeological evidence exists, often suppressed or ignored, which points to the existence of advanced human civilizations in the distant past, far exceeding the current understanding of human history. The book's central thesis. Humanity's history is much older than currently accepted. Cremo and Thompson argue that evidence exists for human presence on Earth millions of years ago, contradicting the accepted timeline of human evolution. Advanced civilizations existed in the past. They present evidence for sophisticated technologies, architectural feats, and cultural practices that seem to predate accepted historical timelines. Mainstream archaeology has suppressed this evidence. They claim that a bias within the scientific community has led to the suppression and dismissal of evidence that contradicts the established paradigm. Key arguments and evidence presented. Fossil evidence. The book presents cases of human-like fossils found in geological strata considered too old for human existence, such as the Peking man skull found in layers dated to 500,000 years old. Archaeological artifacts. They discuss numerous artifacts found in locations and contexts that suggest advanced technology and knowledge in the distant past, such as the Antikythera mechanism, a complex astronomical device dating back to the 2nd century BC, and the Cremo artifact, a metal object found embedded in a rock layer estimated to be 500,000 years old. Ancient texts and myths. The book analyzes ancient texts and myths from various cultures that describe advanced technologies, celestial knowledge, and even extraterrestrial contact, suggesting a deeper understanding of the universe than currently understood. Alternative interpretations of existing evidence. Cremo and Thompson reinterpret existing archaeological evidence, suggesting that it could be evidence of advanced civilizations rather than primitive ones. Criticisms and counterarguments. Lack of scientific rigor. Critics argue that the book lacks proper scientific methodology, cherry-picking evidence and misinterpreting data. Misinterpretation of evidence. Many of the presented artifacts and fossils have been debunked or reinterpreted by mainstream scientists, often due to misidentification or contamination. Lack of peer review. The book has not undergone the rigorous peer review process typical of scientific publications, raising concerns about the validity of its claims. Conspiracy theories. The book's focus on suppression and hidden agendas raises concerns about conspiracy theories and a lack of objectivity. Overall, Forbidden Archaeology is a controversial work that challenges the established narrative of human history. While it presents intriguing evidence and raises important questions about the limitations of our current understanding, its lack of scientific rigor and reliance on controversial claims has led to its dismissal by the majority of the scientific community. Despite its controversial nature, the book has sparked debate and encouraged critical thinking about the history of humanity and the limitations of our current knowledge. It's important to note that this summary is not an endorsement of the book's claims. It aims to provide a neutral overview of its central arguments and the criticisms it has faced. Readers are encouraged to approach the book with a critical mindset and consult with reputable scientific sources to form their own informed opinion. Forbidden Archaeology presents a wide range of case studies and artifacts, each with its own level of intrigue and controversy. Here are a few examples that stand out. 1. The Cremo artifact. This is a small, metallic object found embedded in a rock layer estimated to be 500,000 years old. Its unusual shape and composition have led some to believe it is evidence of advanced technology in the distant past. However, mainstream scientists have dismissed it as a naturally occurring geological formation. 2. The Antikythera mechanism. This complex astronomical device, dating back to the 2nd century BC, is considered one of the most sophisticated ancient technologies ever discovered. Its intricate gears and astronomical calculations have led some to speculate about the existence of even more advanced technologies in the past. However, the mechanism's complexity and sophistication are still debated, with some arguing that it was not as advanced as initially thought. 3. The Peking man skull. This fossil, found in layers dated to 500,000 years old, exhibits features that are considered too modern for its supposed age. Cremo and Thompson argue that it is evidence of human presence much earlier than currently accepted. However, mainstream scientists have reinterpreted the evidence, suggesting that the skull was misdated or belonged to a different species. 4. The Archaeology figures. This collection of over 30,000 ceramic figurines, found in Mexico, depicts scenes of advanced technology, dinosaurs, and even extraterrestrial beings. While some believe it is evidence of a lost civilization with advanced knowledge, others dismiss it as a modern forgery. 5. The Stonehenge. While not explicitly discussed as a forbidden artifact, the book reinterprets the purpose of Stonehenge, suggesting it was a sophisticated astronomical observatory rather than a burial site. This interpretation challenges the prevailing scientific consensus and raises questions about the level of astronomical knowledge possessed by ancient cultures. These are just a few examples of the many intriguing and controversial cases discussed in Forbidden Archaeology. Each case presents its own unique set of challenges and interpretations, making the book a fascinating and thought-provoking read. However, it is important to remember that the book's claims are highly debated and should be approached with a critical mindset. Forbidden Archaeology presents a stark contrast to the mainstream scientific approach to interpreting archaeological evidence. Here's a breakdown of the key differences. Mainstream scientific perspective. Emphasis on scientific method. Mainstream archaeology relies heavily on the scientific method, emphasizing rigorous data collection, analysis, and peer review. Focus on context. Archaeologists prioritize understanding the context of an artifact or fossil, considering its location, stratigraphy, layers of earth, associated objects, and dating methods. Parsimony. The principle of parsimony, Occam's razor, is applied, favoring explanations that require the fewest assumptions. This often leads to interpretations that align with established theories of human evolution. Openness to revision. Scientific understanding is constantly evolving, and mainstream archaeology is open to revising interpretations based on new evidence and advancements in dating techniques. Forbidden archaeology approach. Selective evidence. The book often cherry-picks evidence that supports its claims, while ignoring or downplaying evidence that contradicts its narrative. Lack of rigorous methodology. It often lacks detailed analysis of the context of artifacts and fossils, relying on anecdotal evidence and subjective interpretations. Emphasis on alternative explanations. It often presents alternative explanations for established scientific findings, sometimes based on speculative theories or fringe ideas. Conspiracy theories. The book frequently suggests that a conspiracy exists within the scientific community to suppress evidence that challenges the established paradigm. In essence, the difference boils down to a fundamental approach to knowledge. Mainstream science emphasizes objectivity, rigorous methodology, and a willingness to revise interpretations based on new evidence. Forbidden archaeology relies on selective evidence, subjective interpretations, and conspiracy theories to support its claims. This fundamental difference in approach is why forbidden archaeology has been widely rejected by the scientific community. While it raises intriguing questions and challenges the limitations of our current understanding, its lack of scientific rigor and reliance on controversial claims undermines its credibility. Mainstream scientists have raised several key criticisms against the claims made in Forbidden Archaeology, arguing that the book lacks scientific rigor and misinterprets evidence. 1. Lack of scientific methodology. Cherry-picking evidence. Critics argue that Cremo and Thompson selectively choose evidence that supports their claims while ignoring contradictory evidence. They often present isolated cases without considering the broader context or alternative explanations. Misinterpreting data. Scientists argue that Cremo and Thompson misinterpret data, misrepresent scientific consensus, and often rely on outdated or discredited research. They frequently misinterpret geological formations, artifact dating methods, and the nature of fossilization. Ignoring peer review. The book's claims have not been subjected to the rigorous peer review process that is standard in scientific publications. This lack of scrutiny raises questions about the validity of the presented evidence and interpretations. 2. Misinterpretation of evidence. Misidentified artifacts. Many of the artifacts presented as evidence of advanced technology have been debunked by scientists as misidentified natural objects or forged items. For example, the Koso artifact is now believed to be a spark plug from a car. Misinterpreted fossils. The book often presents fossils found in unusual contexts as evidence of human presence in the distant past. However, these fossils are often misidentified or their context is misinterpreted. For example, the Peking man skull is now considered a species of Homo erectus, not a modern human. Misunderstanding geological processes. The book often misinterprets geological processes, such as the movement of tectonic plates and the formation of sedimentary layers, to support its claims about the age of certain artifacts and fossils. 3. Conspiracy theories and lack of objectivity. Focus on suppression. The book's emphasis on a conspiracy to suppress evidence of ancient civilizations raises concerns about a lack of objectivity and a tendency towards conspiracy theories. Lack of alternative explanations. Critics argue that the book fails to adequately consider alternative explanations for the presented evidence, often dismissing or ignoring established scientific theories. 4. Reliance on outdated or discredited research. Use of fringe sources. The book often relies on outdated or discredited research, including works from fringe authors and sources that have been rejected by the scientific community. Ignoring mainstream research. Cremo and Thompson often ignore or dismiss the vast body of research that supports the established timeline of human evolution and the scientific understanding of ancient civilizations. In conclusion, mainstream scientists argue that forbidden archaeology lacks scientific rigor, misinterprets evidence, and relies on conspiracy theories and outdated research. They emphasize that the book's claims have not been supported by the scientific community and are not considered credible.